Here's the full 700-plus word version of Section 1, the Galactic Council's dilemma for your HFY Sci-Fi story. Hashtag Section 1, the Galactic Council's dilemma. The Galactic Council chamber was abuzz with tension, an unusual state for the governing body of the known universe. Representatives from over 100 species had gathered in the vast, crescent-shaped hall, their holographic displays flickering with data, reports, and intercepted transmissions. The matter at hand was not a trivial border dispute or a minor skirmish between rival empires. No, this was something unprecedented. At the center of the chamber stood Warlord Koresh of the Zeldar Dominion, his crimson exoskeletal armor gleaming under the artificial lighting. He was tall and imposing, his chitin-plated face locked in a predatory sneer as he regarded the assembly. Beside him, his advisors stood silent, their expressions unreadable behind the faceless helmets of their war caste. "I have not come to ask for permission," Koresh declared, his voice echoing across the chamber. "I have come to inform you of what is already decided. The Dominion will conquer the planet called Earth." The silence that followed was deafening. Then, a chorus of voices erupted. The reptilian Dralgor ambassador slammed a clawed hand onto his podium, his scaled crest flaring in alarm. The avian Thren representative fluffed her iridescent feathers, her beak clicking rapidly in disbelief. Even the usually unshakable Ziwenvari, an insectoid species with a reputation for cold efficiency, shifted uneasily in their seats. It was the Vortali delegate who spoke first, his deep-set eyes narrowing. You dare invade Earth?" His voice was not one of challenge, but sheer disbelief. Koresh sneered. "Dare? You speak as if this backwater world is anything more than an isolated speck in the void." He gestured dismissively at the holographic projection of Earth rotating behind him. "They do not possess interstellar fleets. Their colonies are few and primitive. Their technology, while resourceful, is decades, centuries behind ours." He spread his arms wide. "They're soft, ripe for the taking." "You are making a mistake," growled the Dralgor ambassador. "A grave one." Koresh laughed. "Do you expect me to believe that a species so insignificant could threaten the Dominion? This is the same council that chastises my people for their conquests. Now you would defend these humans?" The Thren representative's wings trembled. "We do not defend them. We fear them." Another hush fell over the chamber. Koresh frowned, glancing around as he noticed the expressions of those around him. Some bore concern, others terror. A few, he realized, seemed almost eager. The silent observers. The ones who waited to see how this would play out. A slender, robed figure from the Tarlis Union, a race of bioluminescent amphibians, activated a floating holoscreen. "There have been incidents in the past," he said carefully, as images flickered into view. Koresh examined them, his amusement fading. The first image was grainy footage from the Dralgor Wars. A human colony, thought to be defenseless, had been assaulted by a Dralgor fleet. Within days, the invaders' warships had been sabotaged, their commanders assassinated. Human soldiers, under-equipped, outnumbered, had turned the tide, fighting with a savagery unheard of. The Dralgor had retreated in disgrace. The second image showed the Ziwenvari's failed infiltration of a human military outpost. Their operatives, elite among their kind, had been discovered, captured, and systematically dismantled, biologically and psychologically. The humans had learned everything about them and sent back only one survivor. The Ziwenvari never tried again. The third image was from a classified incident. A first contact gone wrong. An unknown species had attempted to subjugate humanity in its early spacefaring days. They no longer existed. Koresh scoffed, waving a hand through the hologram to dismiss it. Anecdotes. Nothing more. If humans were truly dangerous, they would have conquered the stars by now. But they have not. They sit on their rock, squabbling among themselves. A new voice spoke, deep, measured, ancient. It came from the elderly representative, a member of one of the oldest species in the galaxy. And yet they are still here. The elderly's silver eyes met Koresh's. "Do you not wonder why?" Koresh did not answer immediately. He glanced again at the others. Their silence was answer enough. "You are all cowards," he spat at last. "Afraid of a species that has barely left its own system. Afraid of ghosts and rumors." He turned on his heel. "Very well. Stay here and watch as the Dominion claims what should never have been left unchallenged." The chamber watched as he strode from the room, his advisors following in his wake. The moment the doors sealed shut, the whispers began. "Fool. They will learn. Or they will burn." The elderly watched the holographic image of Earth, a flicker of something akin to sorrow in his expression. "They do not understand," he murmured. "But they will." And far away, on the blue planet at the center of it all, the stars themselves seemed to stir. Section 2. The invasion begins. The Zeldar Dominion fleet arrived in the Sol system with the precision of a well-oiled war machine. Thousands of sleek, black warships emerged from hyperspace just beyond the orbit of Mars, their crimson engines burning against the cold void. The fleet, a massive armada designed to crush planetary defenses and force compliance through overwhelming firepower, moved with a deadly grace toward Earth. On the bridge of the flagship Bloodfang, Warlord Koresh watched the blue-green world growing larger on the main view screen. His mandibles clicked in amusement as he analyzed the primitive satellite network, the scattered orbital stations, and the planet's laughable military assets. Earth's defenses were an embarrassment. There were no planetary shields, no massive defense grids, no capital-class warships in orbit. "This will be over in a matter of days," Koresh muttered, turning to his second-in-command, General Vector. "The humans have not even attempted to engage us," Vector confirmed, his 4 yellow eyes scanning the tactical display. "Their satellites are trying to scan our fleet, but they lack the power to even breach our cloaking systems." Koresh chuckled. Perhaps the Council was right to fear them once.
But now?
They have grown complacent. At that moment, a transmission flickered onto the bridge's communication hub. The signal had bypassed their firewalls effortlessly. A single image appeared, grainy, archaic by galactic standards. It was a human soldier standing over a battlefield, weapon in hand, his uniform tattered and his face streaked with blood and dirt. Across the image, bold, white letters read, "Humanity, we never stop fighting." The bridge fell silent. Koresh frowned. What nonsense is this? Before an answer could come, the main view screen was flooded with bizarre signals. Audio files, old propaganda speeches, images of human conflicts, videos of warships burning, cities in ruin, each showcasing humanity's history of warfare. The transmissions weren't official military responses. No, they were something far stranger.
Memes. Jokes.
Dark humor. A distorted voice came through the speakers. Asterisk to our alien visitors. Welcome to Earth. Population: 8 billion psychopaths. Have a nice stay. Asterisk. Laughter rippled across the bridge. Koresh shook his head. They mock us.
Let them.
Begin the invasion. #, the first strike. Zeldar warships broke formation, descending into Earth's atmosphere like fiery spears. Their primary targets were strategic locations, military bases, communication hubs, and major population centers. The initial assault was calculated and overwhelming. The sky darkened as hundreds of dropships deployed thousands of Zeldar warriors onto the ground. For the first few minutes, it seemed like an easy victory. The humans were slow to react, their military scrambling to coordinate. Entire city blocks were reduced to rubble as orbital bombardments paved the way for ground forces. The Zeldar, confident in their superiority, marched through the ruins unchallenged. And then, the real war began. #, Earth's unconventional defense. What the Zeldar had failed to anticipate was how humans fought. The first wave of soldiers entered major urban centers expecting direct engagement, but what they encountered was something far more chaotic. Booby traps detonated underfoot, sending shards of metal and debris tearing through their ranks. Abandoned vehicles suddenly exploded, revealing hidden weaponized drones. Entire city blocks turned into death traps as hidden snipers took out commanding officers one by one. In the chaos, human soldiers struck in small, mobile units. Unlike the rigid formations of the Zeldar, humanity's forces adapted in real time. They fought in alleyways, underground tunnels, and collapsed buildings. Every civilian seemed to be an informant, every street corner a potential ambush. It wasn't war. It was annihilation. The Zeldar warriors, trained in conventional frontline combat, found themselves overwhelmed. Their armor was durable, but human weapons found weaknesses, targeting exposed joints, using electromagnetic pulses to disable their suits, employing crude yet effective close-quarters combat techniques. Reports flooded the Zeldar command center. Squadron 72 eliminated, enemy forces appearing from underground tunnels. They set fire to their own streets to block our advance. These creatures are suicidal. They're all laughing. The humans are laughing. Warlord Koresh watched the reports with growing unease. What do you mean, laughing? A live feed from a battlefield in New York City answered his question. A squad of Zeldar warriors had cornered a human platoon inside a ruined building. Outnumbered and outgunned, the humans should have surrendered. Instead, they grinned, exchanging jokes as they prepared their final stand. One of them, bloodied but grinning, lifted his rifle and bellowed. Come get some, you ugly bastards. A deafening explosion followed, wiping out both the humans and their would-be captors. Koresh's mandibles clicked in confusion. This was not how war was fought. Psychological warfare. The Zeldar were warriors, but they had never faced an enemy that enjoyed battle. As the conflict dragged into its second day, a disturbing pattern emerged. Human forces weren't just fighting back. They were toying with their invaders. Soldiers hacked into Zeldar communication channels, playing eerie human music before launching ambushes. Military-grade AIs infiltrated the Dominion's war networks, feeding them misinformation, causing entire fleets to fire upon each other. Civilians, unarmed, defenseless, would lure soldiers into traps before detonating hidden explosives, laughing as they did. The Zeldar began to fear. Koresh refused to believe it. They are still weak, he muttered. They cannot hold out forever. But deep down, he knew something was wrong. The humans were supposed to crumble. Instead, they were thriving in war. The reports became more disturbing by the hour. The humans do not break. They do not run. They fight until nothing is left. Koresh clenched his fists.
No.
This was not how it was meant to go. He turned to Vector. Prepare the full assault. Deploy all remaining forces. We crush them now. But as he spoke, the lights flickered. The holographic displays glitched. A new transmission appeared. A single human face, calm, collected. Their words were simple. We haven't even started yet. And across the planet, humanity's full retaliation began. Section 3. The Fall of the Zeldar. Warlord Koresh stood on the bridge of the Blood Fong, his claws digging into the metal railing as he watched his invasion unravel before his very eyes. The Zeldar Dominion had entered the Sol system expecting an easy conquest, a swift victory that would cement their dominance over yet another species. Instead, they had stumbled into a nightmare. The fleet reports were chaotic, fragmented, and filled with disbelief. Third battle group eliminated. Earth's orbital defenses just activated. Ground forces are being wiped out. Request immediate extraction. The humans, they're using biological warfare. Not against us, on themselves. Koresh snarled. Explain that last report. The officer hesitated before answering. Sir, some of our units managed to capture human soldiers alive. But before we could interrogate them, they injected themselves with something. They willingly died rather than be taken. Koresh felt something cold settle in his gut. What kind of species willingly embraced death over captivity? Even the most battle-hardened warriors of the Dominion knew when to surrender, when to preserve their lives to fight another day. But these humans, they fought like creatures who had nothing to lose. And worse still, they were winning. Hashtag humanity's counteroffensive. For the first time in the history of the Zeldar Dominion, they were not just being pushed back, they were being hunted. Humanity had no capital-class warships, but what they lacked in sheer firepower, they made up for with ingenuity and ruthless efficiency. Their space stations, thought to be civilian in nature, turned out to house hidden missile silos. Low-orbit satellites that appeared to be for communication suddenly deployed energy disruptors, shutting down Zeldar's shields and navigation systems. Even their rudimentary-looking warships were retrofitted with technology stolen from previous invaders, modified and repurposed for maximum lethality. But Earth's true strength was not in its technology, it was in its people. Human special forces began their infiltration of Zeldar ships, breaching hulls with surgical precision. They didn't attack in massive waves, nor did they rely on brute force. Instead, they struck from the shadows, using guerrilla tactics even in space. They sabotaged reactor cores, hijacked communications, and spread false orders to enemy battalions. Entire Zeldar cruisers were lost to misinformation alone, tricked into turning on their allies or self-destructing to prevent non-existent human forces from boarding them. And then came the AI. Earth's artificial intelligence systems had been watching, analyzing, adapting. The Zeldar, for all their might, still relied on predictable patterns, strict hierarchy, centralized command, and a structured chain of command. Humanity's AI exploited that mercilessly. It hacked into Zeldar systems, overriding targeting protocols and making Dominion ships fire upon each other. It whispered in their comm channels, mimicking their commanders, sending them into panic and confusion. Koresh watched in horror as an entire battle group of Zeldar dreadnoughts began bombarding their own fleet, thinking they were under attack. Hashtag the collapse of the Zeldar chain of command. The worst was yet to come. Human special forces had one final objective, the elimination of the Zeldar High Command. The Dominion's warriors were trained to follow their leaders without question, to obey orders without hesitation. It was a system that had worked for countless generations. Until now. Late into the third day of battle, Warlord Koresh received a priority distress call. The Blood Fong's security had been breached. He turned to his guards, his voice like sharpened steel. "Find them. Kill them." The guards obeyed, but the intruders moved like wraiths through the corridors. Security cameras showed only glimpses, silent figures in black, moving with eerie precision. The Zeldar warriors engaged them, but the humans fought with an efficiency that defied logic. They were not like the warriors Koresh had seen in open combat. These were something else. Something far deadlier. And then the screaming began. One by one, the high-ranking officers aboard the Blood Fong were eliminated. The assassinations were brutal. Some were found with their throats slit, others with gunshots, so precise they had no time to react. The ship's command structure disintegrated in minutes. And then, Koresh himself was found. Hashtag the end of Warlord Koresh. Koresh stood in his private chamber, gripping his ceremonial blade, his mandibles clicking in anticipation. He had fought hundreds of battles, slaughtered countless enemies, and led his species to victory time and time again. He would not fall so easily. The chamber door slid open with a whisper. A lone human stepped inside. Clad in black armor, helmet reflecting the dim light, the figure radiated an air of cold inevitability. Koresh tightened his grip on his blade. "You think you can kill me, human?" he growled. "I am Warlord Koresh of the Zeldar Dominion. I am..." A single gunshot cut him off. A perfect shot, right between the eyes. Koresh fell, without another word. The human soldier stepped over his corpse, activated their communicator, and uttered a simple phrase. Asterisk, target eliminated. Commence final operation. Asterisk. Hashtag the final blow. With Koresh dead and the Zeldar fleet in chaos, Earth delivered its final retaliation. Human warships, once thought primitive, moved in coordinated precision. The remnants of the Zeldar navy tried to retreat, but humanity did not allow survivors. Each ship was hunted down, their escape routes predicted, their engines disabled before they could flee. On the ground, The last of the Dominion's soldiers surrendered. Some resisted, but most simply laid down their weapons. They had come expecting to rule. Now they begged for their lives. Across the galaxy, news of the Zeldar defeat spread like wildfire. The once mighty warlords were now nothing more than broken remnants of an empire that had overestimated itself. But it was not just the Zeldar who took notice. The Galactic Council, watching from afar, realized that everything had changed. Humanity had been seen as an isolationist race, insignificant in the grand scale of the universe. Now, they had proven themselves as something far more dangerous. Something unstoppable. Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag a message from Earth. As the dust settled, a single transmission was sent to the Galactic Council. A human general stood before the camera, his expression calm, his eyes cold. Asterisk, we did not start this war, but we finished it. Asterisk, he paused then continued. Asterisk, if any among you think to challenge Earth, remember this. We are not conquerors. We are not invaders. But if you come to our world looking for war, asterisk, a slight smile, asterisk, then we will teach you the true meaning of it. Asterisk, the message ended, and across the stars, the galaxy held its breath. Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag Section 4, the aftermath and humanity's new place among the stars. The war was over. What remained of the Zeldar Dominion lay in ruins. Their once mighty fleets, which had darkened the skies of countless conquered worlds, now drifted as debris in the void. Their armies, bred for conquest, had been shattered and broken, their proud warlords reduced to nothing more than whispers of a fallen empire. Humanity had won. But victory came with consequences. Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag Earth in the wake of war. The battle against the Zeldar had changed everything. What had once been a divided world of nations and conflicting ideologies had, for the first time in history, united under a single purpose: survival. The devastation caused by the invasion had been immense. Cities burned, millions had perished, and scars both physical and psychological ran deep. But in the face of such destruction, humanity did what it always had. It adapted. Even as the last remnants of Zeldar resistance were being mopped up, Earth's nations put aside their differences to rebuild. The old world order was no more. Where once superpowers had competed for dominance, now they collaborated as equals. A new governing body was formed, the United Earth Defense Initiative, UEDI, a coalition of the brightest minds, strongest leaders, and fiercest warriors humanity had to offer. No longer would Earth be caught off guard. New technologies, reverse-engineered from fallen Zeldar warships, accelerated human progress by centuries. Energy weapons, advanced shielding, and faster-than-light capabilities became a reality almost overnight. Earth's militaries, once limited to planetary skirmishes, now fielded interstellar-capable battlecruisers. What the Zeldar had meant for conquest had, ironically, only made their intended victims stronger. But the greatest change was not in technology. It was in perception. No longer was humanity a mere curiosity in the galactic theater. They had been tested in the crucible of war and emerged something new, something terrifying. And the galaxy had taken notice. Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag the Galactic Council reacts. Far from Earth, in the heart of the Galactic Council's grand station, representatives of 100 species gathered in solemn discussion. The chamber, once a place of careful diplomacy and political maneuvering, now echoed with uncertainty. The Zeldar are gone, a reptilian Dralgor ambassador stated, his voice slow and deliberate. Utterly crushed. A fate of their own making, murmured the elderly representative, his silver eyes unreadable. They believed humanity would be like all the others they had conquered. They failed to understand the nature of the beast they provoked. They were fools, a Thren emissary added, her feathers trembling slightly. But what concerns me now is this: what will humanity do next? That was the question on everyone's mind. Humanity had been an enigma to the galactic community for centuries. They had not sought expansion, nor had they attempted to establish themselves as a major power. They had been isolationist, content to linger on the edges of space.
But now?
Now they had fought and won against one of the most powerful military forces in the known universe. And they had done it with an almost unsettling ease. The Zyanvari delegate, his insectoid limbs clicking in thought, finally spoke. We must consider the possibility that humanity will not stop here. They have been pushed into the greater galactic sphere by force. They will not retreat. Do you propose we strike first? A heavy silence followed the question. It was the Eldari who finally answered. No, he said simply, because such an action would be suicide. The chamber fell into a hushed murmur. They are not conquerors, he continued, but they are something far worse. He turned his gaze to the holographic image of Earth, now marked as a world of extreme threat. They are survivors. And survivors were always the most dangerous of all. Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag a warning to the stars. Despite their newfound military might, humanity made no move to expand aggressively. They did not conquer the weakened remnants of the Zeldar Dominion. They did not demand reparations from the Galactic Council. They simply waited. But they did send a message. A single transmission was broadcast across the known galaxy. Every world, every outpost, every species received it. A simple video, one that sent a chill through even the most hardened warlords. It showed the ruined Zeldar fleet, their proud warships nothing more than drifting husks. It showed Zeldar warriors, once feared across the stars, now kneeling in surrender before human soldiers. It showed the battlefields of Earth, where humanity had fought with a fury that defied logic. Then, the screen faded to black, and a message appeared. Let this be known. We are not conquerors. We are not invaders. But if you come for us, if you seek to take what is ours, we will end you. The message was simple. It was not a threat. It was a promise. Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag a new chapter for humanity. With the Zeldar gone, and the galaxy now aware of what humanity was capable of, Earth stood at the edge of a new era. The question was no longer whether humanity would survive. It was what they would become. Some among Earth's new leadership wanted to remain defensive, to continue as they always had, hidden, quiet, unassuming. Others, however, saw an opportunity. If humanity was to be feared, then why not use that fear to secure peace? One thing was certain. The galaxy had changed forever. And deep in the void, in the dark spaces between the stars, other empires watched with wary eyes. Some would seek alliances, recognizing that to stand against humanity was folly. Others, blinded by arrogance, might one day test their luck. But one universal truth remained. Humanity had earned its place, and they would never be underestimated again.